PTV, oberoende, piratistisk media, skapad och finansierad av tittarna.
There we go. Hello, everyone, and welcome to yet another episode of, well, I think this is the third episode of PTV Global. That now has a name, which is a good thing. It's a step forward. And today, as normal, we're going to talk about European news, maybe with a little bit of a focus on international news, with a focus on Europe, as usual. I gotta say, though, it's been a pretty slow European news week, at least in the official kind of big news sources. I'm gonna try to get you in here on the screen as well, because we moved place where we're sitting. How are you, Maya?
I'm fine. Kind of tired. Been a long week. We'll probably have some details about that soon.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Let me just see if I can find you here. Nope. I'm trying to... There we go. Beautiful. Perfect.
Yeah, there's been a lot going on in Finland, or at least Helsinki.
Yeah, how was the... maybe we should start there. It's okay. First of all, there was an election, and it's warm like crazy.
Yeah, it's been nearly 30 degrees for almost a week now, and this just isn't normal. Like, we usually get maybe like a couple of days of summer that get close to 30 degrees. But these past few years, we had like several weeks of this.
Yeah.
And now that we've had some of this for over a week, we're starting to get the inevitable summer storms. And those have been like unusually harsh. Like, they just don't look like something we usually get here.
No. Yeah, a lot of severe wind here.
Yeah, I can dig up some tweets actually. So.
And hail.
With video. Yeah, like you'll have to zoom in a bit probably for it to be visible on the site properly. But many of those markers, like there's a ton of those markers over continental Europe. Include the large hail.
Yeah.
I'm actually not sure what the threshold is, what counts as large hail, but like once they start being like
wow.
Even like slightly larger, like once they get to like maybe like a golf ball size, they actually start being deadly if you get stuck outside while those are coming down.
Stream to us, Kringland.
But yeah, sorry. There's also a lot of... I'm looking here, sorry. I see. There you go, now I can see what I'm doing. Looking at Finland too, there's a lot of windy weather and heavy rain.
Yeah, just a second, I'm going to link to you some video about the storm in Oulu, which is Uleåborg for you Swedes, just a couple of days ago. So
look at this Swedenness, like you're protecting us. That's how it looks like.
Yeah, it's on the Trello card now.
Okay. Oh, what's that? Wow. This looks like typhoon.
Yeah, that's like America storms. That's Florida style.
Yeah, that's America or Asia.
This looks like an Asian typhoon. Yeah. That's nuts.
And there's still people going like, well, we've had summer storms like that, like at least once or twice every summer.
Yeah, no.
Like, this is weather, not climate. Like, I just don't know what to tell people anymore. Like, just from that, like, there's huge, like, structural damage to, like, not just, like, small detached houses, but, like, some, like, public structures. For instance, I think the city theater in Oulu got hit pretty hard. They have like actual damages to like internal stuff because part of the roof got torn off during that. So
I love how you
it's
started
bad.
with. I love how you start with they got some internal damages because their roof got torn off.
Yeah,
Yeah,
slight internal damages after the roof was torn off.
Yeah, you could have started with the roof. We would have gotten it. Okay, there's some damage inside.
I mean, I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, it turned into
Yeah, and
a
that's
swimming
like,
pool
that-
after the roof was torn off.
Yeah, and there were.
I mean, this is
there's a lot of
nuts.
stuff in theaters that gets fucked up by even some water. So
I mean,
all the the equipment they have down there, and like the what's it called, like the props and stuff.
yeah.
I'm not sure about the details, but I just heard since I know some people who work there.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, this is a
understand.
Yeah, this is a huge issue. I like the
Yeah,
thing.
and
The thing is this. I mean,
huge. It's also extra bad for the theater people since they've been having
yeah, not a fun.
obviously
Yeah.
some serious economic issues due to the coronavirus already. So they just can't catch a break, it seems. But also there were at least like dozens, probably more, but like even in like heavily frequented and like populated areas, there were dozens of trees falling. Like, and someone actually got hit by a falling tree and they died later that day in the hospital. And yeah, I guess these things happen to some degree every year, but like apparently just Oulu has been hit by that was the second like heavy summer storm they've had so far.
I think like this level
year.
of storm, I've experienced maybe 3 times in Sweden total in my life, tops.
I mean,
we have some comments on the chat. How typical, instead of regeringskris, we are just small talking about the weather.
yeah.
Yes, we are controlled media. We
Yeah.
are here to talk about the eastern provinces while there's a great governmental crisis going on.
Yeah.
I mean,
We're here to
just
distract you.
before when you called like that's Ulleboy for you Swedes, I was so close at saying that's Sir Swede to you peasant. But I was we were gonna be nice today, but okay, let's talk about the eastern provinces then.
I mean, you have to come here and tell us,
Yeah.
Lord Swede and all that, and we'll see how people respond to that.
We'll see how long you can live in a sauna.
Yes.
Send the Danish guy over to get
Yeah.
killed by the fence.
Yeah.
I was about to say
Stay mad.
Uleborg. I was more like, I guess that doesn't really make any sense to me. I think we have forgotten all of the Swedish names of Finnish cities. Åbo, I guess, is the only one that sounds relatively. Anyway, we're not going to talk about that. This is extreme weather. There's one of the things about this though that's really bad. Like if I mean in
I have some more from just today.
oh
Just
nice,
a second.
Sändes.
Like,
Yeah. No, what I want to say there is to like, because of the structures that we build, we're not used to this. So it's very damaging to our, like in China, this is southern China at least, and large part of where you have typhoons. This is common, and the houses are meant to be able to handle moist at that type of level where it gets through everything. But a lot of Swedish houses, a lot of the way that we build, they just won't stand that. So and you can say when a roof is being ripped off a building, naturally that's not something that happens often. And when it happens many times in a week, then that's not normal.
I mean, our houses are built to
Shit.
against cold, basically. That's it. It's our houses are built to keep the heat. Oh my god, they're actually blocking, like, you got geo-blocked.
I'm geo-blocked.
Of course.
What does it say here? You fucking Swedish idiot.
Yeah.
Go die.
If I share the screen, can you pick that up?
Yeah.
Don't you have a VPN?
Yeah, that's a good question, actually.
Yeah, no, I
What
don't
kind
pay
of-
for it.
What kind
I
of
have
a
an
culprit
extension in
are
my
you?
browser. I can just switch over in my browser.
Yeah, I don't pay for any VPN at the moment.
Wow. He
I mean,
bought
there are free,
WinRAR, but no VPN.
like,
Wow.
Yeah. Why can't I watch it? Oh, there we go. I'm stupid. Are you sharing your screen?
I just.
Oh, there we go.
started. So it's just for this bit, but so this is today. This is slightly. Okay, this is not normal. I was about to say this is slightly more normal, but
Yeah.
look at that.
I mean, it tends to happen, but when it's like, especially what you showed last time, that's like typhoon level wind. It really looks like a typhoon as well.
Yeah.
I mean, that sort of
Yeah,
damage.
just the visual
Mm.
looks like.
And when it happens on like in the it's just
Is it just me? If I saw a tree laying like that on the road, I would instantly think like, this is a roadblock. They're gonna rob me back the fuck up. I've seen way too many dystopic, post-apocalyptic movies, I think.
Yep.
uh,
Yeah, that's going on right now.
yeah, and we'll see. I mean, if this continues through the summer, it's devastating. I mean, this is also remember for the farmers here that hail in particular at this time of year. This is even that type of rain. If you're not protected, this is really unusual and highly damaging. In the end of the summer, you tend to be able to get this, and maybe in May, sometimes at least here in Sweden, you could get some weird shit going on in early May. Normally, traditionally, like it could get cold again. That's like something that. But I mean, we don't really even need this extreme weather. I mean, it's all over the place. Like the weather is responding to changes. I mean, it's not. It's going to be really hard to say what's going to happen.
Like weather does.
I mean, those leaves aren't just like rainy leaves. They are soaking wet leaves.
Poor little Levy bros. You can make it.
Yeah.
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 But it looks like that all over Europe, actually, and even worse in other parts of Europe that have some extreme weather, and it's also extremely warm at the same time.
Yep. But now we're going to wait for you guys to get copyright struck by Yle.
Nice. We'll do it. We'll.
This was the plan. I'm
Yeah.
sabotaging you intentionally.
Ah.
Oh my god! I knew it. She was a spy for the copyright lobby all along.
Yeah. This was the plan.
Yeah, I just had this one too. Just looking at some of the numbers, it's pretty crazy. It's Sweden is so nice. Look at this, and we are like, and Otto's like, oh, it's so warm here, and Sweden is like, yeah, pretty good here.
I mean, you're going like, that's like comfy summer warmth.
Yeah,
We've gone past that recently.
and Russia is always so fucked. I mean, imagine it's the inland the problem is obviously when the Gulf Stream starts and it's already changing quite drastically. That's gonna mean that's not good for us. That's not at all good for us. We'll see.
Wow.
But yes, you know what else is happening in Europe? We were talking about this last time, that Hungary decided to ban gay. So, which means removing anything that could potentially be. I mean, they're gonna go through movies. The kids cannot watch movies. The schools, every teachers have to have a specifically approved by a politician board to be able to teach sexual education. All of the TV shows have to be screened. All of that shit. Okay, all of that. Let's say neoconservative shit, because obviously, gay is horrible. Right, and now naturally it happens to be a UEFA football cup.
I can't wait for the next Eurovision. Somebody's gonna make something really funny out of this in Eurovision.
I don't think people are gonna remember it by then. But they're probably gonna do something even more horrible. I mean, they're already putting people in jail for this, right? So it's not like it's authoritarian. I mean, straight up. However, a lot of people, because UEFA went out and they essentially said that they didn't want. I think it was Germany. They don't want them to have any rainbow flags or do any sort of markings against this that would be particularly directed at Hungary in that case, right? Because they don't want to make anything political, right? Essentially. Then they met a huge backlash because it turns out that quite a lot of people believe that actually doing nothing when people are being oppressed in a country that you're playing against or that are part of that's actually also a political statement. Turns out that doing nothing, can also be a political statement. So they come out and said this then. UEFA respects the rainbow. This statement is one of the most hilarious ever.
One hell of a spin.
Yeah.
Or a spin attempt.
It's quite interesting. Today, UEFA is proud to wear the colors of the rainbow. And the reason is also today is actually a specific day, I believe. If it was yesterday, it's also a Remembrance Day. So it's all getting kind of mixed up. This is actually a kind of not a holiday, but a Remembrance Day. And I don't even know the story if someone has it here, posted there. So it wouldn't just be a political statement against Hungary in this case, and Orban. It would be something wider.
Bullshit they are on. On the contrary, they were being political first, so we had to be political back.
Yeah. I mean,
this is ridiculous.
It's kind of funny, but they got such a huge backlash for this, and it is a symbol that embodies our core values, promoting everything that we believe in: a more just and egalitarian society, tolerant. Yes, that is what you say and what your core beliefs are, but then you're again saying so some people have interpreted UEFA's decision to turn down the city of Munich's request to illuminate the Munich stadium in rainbow colors for a Euro 2020 match as political. On the contrary, the request itself was political, linked to the Hungarian football team's presence in the stadium for this evening's match with Germany. What? I think to a certain degree, everyone here wants us to try to influence other stuff politically. Not saying anything is also a type of politics. I mean, I hear a lot of people saying we should protest against this. Why isn't the government banning everything that is, Chinese? Or why aren't they doing like this? And this is horrible, and they should do this and this and this and this. The thing is that when you're having these sort of sport events, and when you're actually, this is like one of those events where these types of political statements are common and relatively easy to make, and not making a statement when people are effectively being oppressed that goes totally against UEFA's core values, to then forbid or strongly recommend against, or in this case saying, actually calling that, I mean, it's just is this against, there is no way this isn't political in any, just being silent is not that's also a statement. God damn it. In the wake of this, actually, what happened is, first of all, a lot of the local, obviously, what happens when you tell someone not to do something? How does that usually work? All of these repressive conservative types. Well, naturally, all of the other places started heaving rainbow flags, and the city of Munich is pretty much colored in this. So it's going to become an even bigger thing than it would have been if they would have just done it, obviously. The second thing is that, and this is going to, I'm looking forward to see the Swedish right wing bend over backwards to say how political it is by Sweden, of course, to when Hungary comes and play here, and I believe they do pretty soon. Let me see if I can get this. Anyway, the Swedish government, the Swedish, not the government, the Swedish place, football field, whatever, what's it called, stadium, is gonna lit up during their day, I believe, and I believe it is actually when we're playing. Okay. I'm just checking, trying to find it. Okay. Right, I don't understand. I think we are playing against Hungary. Can someone say? I have no idea about this football thing apart from this. Let me see. Yeah, I got another picture here we could look at. This picture. Okay. God damn it, Strange Lurk. This picture is banned in Hungary. Like, what the fuck? All right. Yeah, I hope everyone can see.
Cancelled in Hungary.
We are.
PTV is cancelled.
Why did you do this?
Europe.
God, half of our viewers are in Hungary, man. You dick.
God damn it.
Half of our viewers are. I talk with them on MSN every day. They're under 18 and in Hungary at the moment. Jeez. Well, anyhow, Sweden, the Swedish stadium will do this, and obviously this is gonna be, this is always what happens. Well, I'm not sure. I'm just so tired. I know the right wing is gonna explode over this, and for them, the rainbow flag has become something that is so incredibly political. The problem is that this now, whatever you say, you could have said, I mean, this is pretty goddamn real for a lot of people. This is not structural racism, this is institutional racism. Oh, not racism, but, oppression of a minority group. I mean, it's interesting to me to see where I'm interested in hearing how they're gonna defend this. And you can even see here, like, a lot of these comments are like, wait, why do they have to make it political? Like, why is Hungary oppressing homosexuals? And why is it that we should just stand and accept that passively? Like, we all have our political leanings, but stop pretending that it's not political to not say anything and just passively accepting when people are being oppressed. It's not. I mean, you may not believe that's a big issue. You may not care. That's fine. But you not caring is actually a political statement. It is.
People are excited about you talking about football.
Yeah. I've got no fucking idea about football.
Yeah, own accord.
Hopeless.
Good
Yeah.
evening, comrade Socialiseringskommittén.
A typical leftist making sports political. God damn it!
Yeah, that's all of us.
Sports has
Making
never been
everything
political.
political.
Yeah. Imagine
Well,
before the
accepting
rainbow
that.
flags, how good it was when no one was making anything political in the world. Do you remember? And everyone were
Yeah.
living in harmony.
Remember the time when international relations weren't political?
I remember.
Those were the times.
Yeah, remember when you could just make racist jokes and everyone had to laugh? They didn't mean that was political? That's, God damn it. Anyway, let's move on.
We've lost.
When was
Yeah.
it ever forced to laugh at a joke?
Hi, Otto. No,
Hi.
there was a time when you could make racist jokes and people still, a lot of people wouldn't dare to point it out and call you racist for it. Now, these days, whenever I make a funny joke like Steven Crowder does, people call me racist. Like, what the hell? Why do you make my joke political?
So a joke can't be. Wow, that's so much. Wow.
What are you waking up from? I was thinking we should do this. Coldfield Crowder, beta male. Is this a sport ball stream now? Yeah, exactly. You can tell how much we know. But I'm like, I don't even know what a stadium is called. Like, the sports thing. U.S. takes down Iran-linked news sites. Alleged disinformation. I mean, this is just crazy. Okay, I want to be honest here. So, United Arab Emirates. American authorities seized a range of Iran state-linked news website domains they accused of spreading disinformation. The U.S. Justice Department said Tuesday, a move that appeared to be far-reaching crackdown on Iranian media amid heightened tensions between two countries. The Justice Department said 33 of the seized websites were used by the Iranian Islamic Radio and Television Union, which was singled out by the U.S. government last October for what officials described as an effort to spread disinformation and sow discord among American voters ahead of the 2020 presidential election. This happens like 2 days after an Iranian election, right? This is just in the Iranian election cycle. And this is just 3 days after Biden, we were watching that video where Biden went, well, how would it look like if the US interfered in other countries' elections and internal affairs like Russia does? I mean, God damn it. Like, it's just, I mean, you're not going to convince, I mean, as long as we do this, we're not going to convince anyone that we're democratic, free societies.
We keep doing shit like this.
Yes. I mean, this is not the way to be pretending to be free and helping others. I mean, it's just not. This is just imperialism, and it I don't know. I mean, this just it pisses me off like every time, and the timing is incredibly bad.
At least we here in Europe mostly resort to just blocking certain domains instead of actually going ahead and like seizing entire sites. But that's much better, but like this is just the US usually operates on its own level entirely.
Yeah. I mean, and it goes to show you the type of influence that US have over our infrastructure, the basic infrastructure online as well, and the type of we were just talking about we didn't even I don't think we were, it was news a month ago probably. I think we talked about it a little bit where Denmark is selling highly classified. I mean, what happened with that? Denmark was shown to spy essentially on all other European leaders and sell that information or send that information straight to the US. I mean, it's absolutely incredible, the control and that sort of information control that is kind of closing our grasps on us. And like when you have a country that can just, we're deciding on shutting down your main news sites.
Wasn't that something with a Danish guy in Sweden reporting to North Korea, and he was a double agent for a documentary or something like that as well?
You mean Otto Larsson?
Nope.
Not me. I would have known.
Well, chat maybe remembers.
I just think it's a short little, but this is one thing I want to keep our eyes on, and particularly for us who are tech interested. I mean, they're literally going down, and seized these state-linked website domains. So they're seeding them on a domain level, right? I mean, it's seriously.
I actually feel bad about not having the time to look into this before the stream, since this is actually pretty interesting. We're going into like some of the basic questions of internet governance, which like internet governance as a topic and as like an area of policy is something I've been hoping that we can kind of really dig into during these streams.
Yeah. We will.
Just going down, it's included in this article you picked up, actually. It's discussing like which top level domains most of the seized sites were under. So they did use the domain name system to do this.
So they probably
There's
bought
this
them.
line that there's this line that apparently still exists. They discuss it here. Seizing a domain on a major country-specific top-level domain such as Iran's .ir would be apt to produce widespread international condemnation as a violation of sovereignty. So that's sort of a line they apparently weren't willing to cross this time, but the generic domains are something they could apparently get their hands on. There's been some interesting stuff happening in the background regarding like the governance and management of these domains. I mean, that's ICANN, ICANN, one of the international or multi-stakeholder organizations that manage these things. There were some interesting things going on last year and the year before, and I think those dramas might still be going on, or they may have played out by this point. So let's file that for a future stream, since this is actually very interesting, and this is something all of us should be paying more attention to.
Yeah, I mean, because you're absolutely right in that, and this is not even something for PTV that we have looked at so many things in Europe, but I know that passing by my like I've seen it, but I haven't really focused my attention. Is I think there has been two major changes to internet, how internet fundamentally works, and also one massive drop of U.S. State Department held addresses and IPs. And there's big questions what those were going to use for, and I think there has been follow up on this, but I'm going to leave it in here, internet government, and move it back there, because we need absolutely. I'm feeling blind into that at the moment, and this is just a huge overreach. I would say a huge and dangerous overreach. It was .net and .org and .com addresses that they were seizing.
There's a question in chat, or there are things in chat. Yeah, I'm sorry. I thought Caterpillar would say Finland probably not playing in eighth finals in the Euros when she said that. I feel bad that, and yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I'm this stereotypical pirate, not really a sports person. I was aware about the results, since it's been hard not to be aware about what's going on there.
It's typical, these socialists, from Socialiseringskommittén. They come here, capitalism bad, 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 and then they watch the football. Hello?
Yeah. So, the year of our Lord 2021, being interested in football and wanting to socialize things. Imagine that.
Imagine. When the climate is dying, you're watching football. Hello? Priorities.
Yeah.
Stockholm big
the interesting things, they were mostly... that's the reason I don't want to get into this now, since I can't remember all the details. But mostly, I think the gist of it was like who has control over these different organizations that have been managing the domains and some of like the technical infrastructure of the entire internet. I think there was some kind of an attempt at least to privatize something, and there was a pretty sizable shitstorm over it in the community, understandably, and I think that sort of fell through eventually. But again, I haven't been checking on that that question recently, so we'll have to get back to it maybe next week or
we'll get back to it
week after.
You know what? In the meantime, Brussels launches antitrust probe into Google's digital ad tech practices.
It is so nice.
Yeah.
You're doing something good for a change. Like,
yeah, and doing something at least. because this we
EU
talked about
doing
it.
EU doing digital policy at least somewhat right. It's always so nice to see.
Yeah, we need, and we went through some of it last time. I mean, we need to know, and we need to be able. It's so important that we open up for competition on this market properly again. And there's a lot of things that has to be done to allow that. But one of the things is that Google and Apple and these companies have built markets where they control and promote their own products. And the way that they do this is pretty blatant and really bad for anyone else that wants to compete. I mean, we're seeing Amazon do it on a massive scale as well. And it's important that we do not allow these companies to completely kill off all other industries. And because this is not just tech isolated. The way that Amazon has completely changed the retail industry, right? A lot of it is not necessarily bad. It's good. People actually want it. The problem is that if I'm going to sell my stuff on Amazon, I need to know that Amazon isn't just going to rip me off and take my products and sell them and push their own advertising over me. And this is, again, a problem that people are not informed. They don't make informed choices. And particularly, you're not going to make an informed platform I mean, are you going to scroll through all of the different options of my product on Amazon? No, you're going to take the first one. And the value of that is incredible. That power to have that is absolutely incredible. And we need to know those algorithms, and we need to be able to affect them. It's so important that we are not just becoming a tool where all of our actions are directed online without us even being able to understand or seeing the structure, where it's all hidden from us. I cannot even. It's for everything you buy today. You probably are doing research online. Every site you visit, you are there for a reason. Don't ever think that you're not. You are there because someone paid for you to be there. And we need to be able to see that. And it's good that it's happening.
It's good to see that they are taking a look at ad tech specifically. This is something that pirates, at least since Julia when she was still an MEP, have been bringing up, that we should be looking at the ad-based business model itself. That basically is what the internet is currently based on. All of it. Mm. All of our... That's what we should be looking at. That's something we should be maybe reconsidering entirely. And if not entirely, like something that I think the European Pirate Party just brought up in one of their posts was that a tax on internet advertising might be one step towards at least taxing the tech giants in general, some kind of a blanket solution to begin with. And I think it's also pretty well shown or well proven at this point that this targeted advertising model and everything, all of the whole sector that has been built around it, is a big part of the problem, and is a major source of all the breaches to privacy and basic rights, and just good competitive practices in the sector. So it's definitely the part. One of the parts that we need to be looking at.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And, I'm sure that if we went through what they're actually saying, we'd have so much to say. And I know that the Pirates actually has, and it's far from where it needs to be. And a lot of these regulations, unfortunately, today serves to strengthen the monopolies that these companies have. And that's the biggest problem with some of them. But just looking at it and understanding that it's happening, I think just that is positive, and then we need to work with it. This, apart from just raining, and also wait, hang on. Is this about virus? I thought this was the crazy revolution.
There were two links. There's a short summary of the Hufvudstadsbladet article right there. Police breakup demo. So that's the press release from the organization itself. You missed the Hufvudstadsbladet article again.
That was one, and this was one.
Yeah. So that's in Swedish.
Wow. Amazing.
Might be helpful for you. And somehow not paywalled. Usually HBL is always, everything is paywalled. For some reason, we've been blessed this time around. So basically, this climate/environmental activist organization called Elokapina in Finnish, that is part of the International Extinction Rebellion movement. They organized a week-long string of actions that they took of direct action and civil disobedience that's been going on since last Thursday here in Helsinki. And it's still going on, actually. They were just today they went to one of these buildings where the government tends to work and convene, and tried to get their attention. And I think they managed, like some of the ministers came out to talk to them. But basically, they have this same set of, mostly the same exact set of demands that the international movement has. You can find them in the press release you,
oh shit.
I think, also had open.
Here we go.
There we go.
I can read them here then. We demand that the government starts telling the Finnish people the truth about the climate crisis by declaring a climate and ecological crisis and by beginning regular national crisis communication. We demand that Finland stops heating the climate as soon as possible and brings forward its carbon neutrality target to 2025. We demand that the government includes Finnish consumption-related emission in all its emission reduction targets, and that the government ends the overconsumption of natural resources by Finns by 2025. We demand that the transmission to a carbon-neutral, sustainable use of natural sources in Finland is made by the means of a deliberative democracy involving citizens and utilizing the best research data. The government must establish citizens' assembly to make proposals for rapid and equitable emission reduction targets and nature conservation measures. The parliament must consider the forum's proposal. We demand that the government includes Finnish consumption-related emission in all its emission reduction targets, and that the government ends the Finnish overconsumption of natural resources by 2025. And I mean, given that you had this type of extreme weather, I mean, I'm expecting these things to grow rapidly. Civil disobedience, real civil disobedience.
They've been doing this thing earlier, like the first ones here were in 2019, I think. And they already have people getting detained last, maybe even in 2019, but the one that really got some attention was last October when some activists, many of whom were really young, I think some of them were even underage, got detained, and like they were just doing one of the roadblocks that these people are known for, this group in particular is known for, and there are photographs and also video clips showing clearly that one of the police who were present just walks up to these people, just sitting there, just chilling, not behaving in any threatening way or causing any disruption, besides blocking the traffic. The police guy just walks up to them and like straight up sprays them in the face with pepper spray. And that's still being investigated, but there was a pretty clear consensus that they overdid it. And that's I guess when the sort of the recognition for Extinction Rebellion skyrocketed here in Finland. Most of these are from this summer now, yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, this is great. Well,
Yeah,
I
it's
believe
great.
I believe it's super important to take direct action. It seems to be the only way that voices are actually eventually heard. And the important thing here is to not stop, because you just can't stop until the changes are made. Until the political changes are made. This is the hard part.
Absolutely. Yes, the chat asks, did I hear direct action? And absolutely, you did. And it's part of this whole thing. It's it's what XR is known for. And it actually has worked since the news has been, both the news and social media has been all over this, and they've actually written about, you know, what kind of action can be taken towards, say, these demands that these people have. So they have succeeded in getting attention to this issue. They haven't been like the government hasn't conceded to any of the concrete demands, but they have managed to turn people's attention towards these topics. So as far as I'm aware, I know some people who were directly involved in organizing this, and the impression I've got is that overall this has been considered a success so far. Obviously, it's not a monolith. There are many different, and it's not centrally led, so there are many different opinions about how things should have been carried out at different points. Say some of the roadblocks, like whether they ended at the right time, or if they were coordinated as well as they could have been. But for the most part, they've done great so far, and there hasn't been like any massive massive drama over anything so far. I mean, most of the negative attention and most of the drama has been coming from the people on social media who have many politicians even, but also just regular people and, you know, various online pundits, if they can be called that. They've been stirring up hate and against the protesters and just saying pretty awful things, like about, say, just running these people over or just bringing out the gas again like they did the last time. And it's just gone to some really ludicrous levels. There were even calls to like call in some kind of like special forces to, I don't know, clean up the streets. And I'm not I'm not exaggerating here. People were talking about like bringing out the special forces, whatever they mean by that, because the police, according to them, weren't doing enough about the people blocking the street. And like some people somehow got down to some like weird like civil war revanchism shit over this, which is kind of telling about the kind of reasoning these people follow. But while like looking at all the shit going on, the shit that's been flung on social media and all the direct threats towards the safety of the protesters, or even the lives of the protesters, it's mostly worked in favor of the protesters, since the whole the whole action, or the many actions, wouldn't have gained as much traction on media and social media if people weren't making up such a shitstorm about it.
No. I mean, it kind of goes into that whole. This is why direct action typically works surprisingly well against conservatives in particular, because they are the ones who often bring it up. It's like whenever they talk about. I mean, they made BLM that hashtag huge, or defund the police. I mean, it's every time they try to oppose those things in the way they do, they are giving it so much clicks. And they're also bringing up the news value of things. So I mean, at least there's some positive effect of having these some of these nut jobs around. But interesting. We have to follow up on that one because that's. I mean, obviously we have Fridays for the future here, which has gotten. I mean, which got huge. But we need more, and it's essentially going to happen, I believe. I mean, in Sweden, there's a lot of these. It's brewing, right? And for a long time, we haven't had a left wing either.
Here as well. I would know since I'm one of the people who worked to bring it here as well, to organize those huge international strikes back in 2019, and we're still going. Like we had some Fridays people at the hanging out at the XR things just this past week. And there are many people who participate in both Friday strikes or Friday protests and these other forms. It's all very networked, and that's how it's supposed to be.
Yeah, it's really good, and I mean we don't really have. Unfortunately, we don't have that a whole lot of time. And any pressure, anything that we can actually put on the world to kind of take it seriously, particularly in our countries, is good. Okay, god damn it. I will change the title to what you want. You can also change the title, Hello?
What do we have left? I mean, we could still talk about this if people are interested. There was a question in chat about the Finnish police, and the answer is, yeah, obviously yes. The police here supposedly, like all of these polls that they make, all these surveys that they make, it's highly trusted. Like people have really high trust in the police, but that's been falling in the recent years. And stuff like, them pepper spraying young people in the face over just what is a very peaceful protest has definitely contributed to that. And there's been increased awareness about all the ways they've been overstepping and, treating minorities badly and that kind of thing. There's been increased attention that's been sort of brought up to the surface, partly by what's been going on in the US and elsewhere, but also just, changes with the times. It's hard to keep these things under the wraps when everyone has a camera and, there are cameras everywhere, on people and elsewhere. It's kind of once the dam breaks, it's really hard to put it back together or undo it.
Now, there's such a deep frustration over the complete lack of politicians to take a lot of these questions seriously. And we're going to talk about the Swedish collapse, and I can probably expand a little bit more into that here then as well.
Yeah, I was about to go into that. I'd like to hear about the great downfall of the Swedish Empire.
Yeah, unfortunately, as you may know,
is Sweden over?
Sweden is cancelled. We cancelled ourselves. It's over. You can attack us now, please.
We can take over.
We can take over
now. You had your time.
Yeah, it's collapsed. Sweden is over. Complete anarchy rules the streets.
You may bow to the god queen Sanna Marin now.
Sanna Marin, is that your queen? Do you have a queen? No.
No, that's our PM.
Oh, okay,
fine. She can probably be your queen if you can only be ruled by royals.
That's true. She's now a queen.
Whatever. Yeah. I mean, there have been like some Warhammer 40k edits of her because of Space Marine.
Could you picture her holding a whip? I'm not calling anybody queen who's not holding a whip.
Why is that? I think
Principles.
that sounds like a you thing, honestly.
It sounds like a you problem.
I'm just speaking for me, and I'm just asking. Could you picture her holding a whip?
You better not be paying for these types of services.
Okay, I found one of the memes, so I can share it with you, so you can get acquaintanced to your future ruler.
Oh, yes, please. We want to see our future ruler. Queen Sanna Marin! Queen! Oh, finally. We're getting a good ruler.
I'm not sure if this counts as eye bleach, so it's going in the short stories section. There we go.
This is definitely eye bleach.
Are you ready?
I'm ready. Is this Space Marine?
Yes, Space Marine.
Oh, nej! I can't find anything there. Are you sure? It's not missing.
Oh, sorry. Let's see.
Well, finally, we got a reasonable leader.
Does that help?
That helps. Here we go. Our new ruler and queen! It's pretty badass. Who are these?
Those are the chairs, respectively. On the left, you have Maria Ohisalo, who is the current chair for the Greens. And on the right, you have Lee Anderson, who is the chair for the Left Alliance.
Okay, nice.
So they are here to take over.
Fucking hell. It's time now. I mean, they've probably been plotting this. It's maybe Finland who's behind this complete crash in Sweden. Who knows? They're just the armies. Oh my god, the map you were showing me. Where is it? Uh-oh, that's not... I don't want to... Oh, god. I want to see that. Where is the map? Here. This is... You know what this is? This is the enemy forces. Look here. They're preparing an invasion. God damn it, I knew it. Oh shit, it's... what are we gonna do? Stackars Stefan. Poor Stefan. No, but our government has... I'm not sure... failed. I guess, and I think this is a little bit unique for the Swedish democracy, that you need the other parties can, if they get a simple majority, they can vote you down. You don't necessarily need their support, but they can cancel you. And Swedish Prime Minister is cancelled, and this comes after the left-wing party, Vänsterpartiet. They agreed to support the current government and not vote them down, and not vote for their budget, but not stand in their way, against two things. They said they essentially don't have any sort of influence whatsoever. That was a demand from the center, liberal, and even Socialdemokraterna has never been interested in giving them any form of influence. But they say don't touch laws, which is the laws that regulates the workforce, and don't touch don't touch our rent, essentially, because we have public rent system in Sweden that not for all houses, but for a few.
What do you say marknadshyra in English?
That's a good question. But yeah, we have a public rent type of system where you can't take any rents. You can obviously not increase rent, market rent. That's it. Makes sense. Probably. Anyhow, they did exactly just this. The Socialdemokraterna and Centerpartiet did exactly this, and Vänsterpartiet did exactly what they said they would do. And they went out and said, well, then we are going to have a no confidence vote in this government, and that no confidence vote, all of the right-wing parties voted for that because they simply just hate this government. And the government fell.
Wait, was it the... So it was the left-wing parties who initiated?
Yeah, well, they don't have enough people in the government to actually initiate, because you need 35 or something like that. You need
Members of parliament.
yeah, MPs to actually get that started, and they don't have that. So it was it was Sverigedemokraterna who put down the misstroendeförklaring, the actual
Non-confidence vote.
non-confidence proposal or suggestion, and they all voted for it. But obviously, it really doesn't matter who puts that down. But yes, there was the left-wing party that said enough is enough, and it's what made this government fall. And essentially, the Social Democrats and the Center Party, they've been trying to pin this on Vänsterpartiet, the left-wing party, saying, oh, why you want to crush the government and you want to give the right-wing power, and this is a horseshoe. Look at the horrible left. They are the same as the horrible right. Both sides are equally bad. Look at them. This is what we said all along. Yada, yada, yada. This has been, and even Socialdemokraterna's first defense, when in reality, they did not have to go in...
The chat is telling you are wrong.
And do this. No. They didn't vote for or against, but that means in a negative parliamentary system that is a vote for a government, since it's in a system that... Okay, so they needed enough for...
Okay. Yeah, the left's actions in media led to the vote being proposed by the Swedish Democrats. That is correct.
Okay, so anyway, it was 81 votes against or for this proposal, misstroendeförklaring. And Vänsterpartiet voted for the proposal, which is whatever. The point is, I mean, if we want to go into the details exactly how the parliamentary system works, that's going to be a little bit of a different thing. The short story of it all is that Vänsterpartiet said, no, we're done with you. And if anyone has a vote of, what the hell is it called then? Non-confidence for you, then we are going to vote with that. So the government fell. Essentially the center, which is the Social Democrats and the Center Party, has been putting this on the left-wing parties and a left-wing party, and it's pretty ridiculous because all they really had to do was not to do that. Why? Don't do these two things out of all of the hundreds of lists of mostly liberal changes that you wanted to push through, but they went in and had to do them both. And I mean, I think it's never been more clear that the Social Democrats in Sweden are not social democratic at all. They're a form of neoliberal corporatistic party. And for some reason, it's very important for them with this market rent stuff. And it's pretty clear on who they're siding and who they're trying to blame. Fortunately enough, though, it seems like their storytelling isn't really sticking with people. People are probably opening up their eyes for, well, what? No, you're the one who wants to change this. You don't have to change this.
Yeah. Back to if we can go back to Sanna Marin for a moment. She's also a social democrat, and unfortunately, the Social Democrats are kind of this, maybe not as bad as yours, but they're still more of a weird centrist, neoliberalized mishmash than they are any kind of true left. Like Sanna Marin might be progressive and left-ish in comparison to a lot of the rest of her party. But most of the party is still like the average age of the members and representatives is pretty high. And they're just not great, and they're just not progressive when it comes to many things. And they're known for having this like fairly tight connection to the unions. And the unions are, for instance, are pretty significant force acting against any kind of a basic income right now. So unfortunately, while it's really nice to meme about Anna Marin because she makes all the right wingers so upset, like she's like there's very limited reason to actually, stan her.
Yeah.
She's also done some pretty shitty things, like with regard to climate, like representing Finland on the EU level, and also somehow the last government that consisted of like it was basically the opposite. Like it had all the rightmost wing parties in the country, and they discontinued the sales of weapons to like this to like Saudi Arabia and the Emirates, I think. And I haven't looked into it, but for whatever reason, this current government, the so-called centre-left the most progressive, heavy quotation marks, government we could form out of the latest election results, they have resumed those arms sales to countries that are actively known to actively destabilize their regions and wage war with their neighbors. Like those are probably Finnish weapons being used in Yemen, for instance, right now.
Along with Swedish weapons.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. Yeah, I understand. I mean, and then what I'm hoping.
Social Democrats, what's wrong with you?
Yeah, they're gone. They're lost. And I mean, I think that what I hope for Sweden now is that becomes clear. And it's really important that international people understand it's true. I mean, Sweden has had we have taken a neoliberal turns for 30 years, and just because they're called social democrats doesn't make them social democrats. I mean, it just doesn't, like whatever they used to be at some point in time, they're not. And it's kind of interesting to listen to a lot of social democrats who are, I mean, it has become a career, right? It's not really because you're interested in politics. It's because you're interested in a career rather than anything else. There's very little, and there is quite a few. I mean, I'm not saying all are like that. Of course, there's great people there who are really trying. But I gotta say, for order for the Swedish politics to be revitalized, this was important. We need a left, and then we have this neoliberal center with social democrats and Centern, and then we have our conservative right. I think that's pretty good. Actually, I hope that it makes that people start who kind of wake up and see a lot of more people are getting interested in politics again, and it's really important. We can't have a democracy unless people actually try to learn about this stuff, and more than what the newspaper, one of the newspapers are saying about it, because you're not going to be informed.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's a duty, I believe, and I hope that this revitalizes the debate on a fundamental level. And I believe that, I mean, and we saw that immediately on the and this was even before, I think the test was even before this, but Vänsterpartiet has gone forward and is now clocking in at 12% of the votes in Sweden, and I'm pretty sure they're going to keep.
That's better than our Left Alliance.
Yeah, what's your Left Alliance at the moment?
It's like between 8 and 9%. Like they've been hovering there for ages. At least 10 years, I think, at this point. It's kind of sad, and it's kind of weird. Like, I haven't looked into like any in-depth attempts to explain why it's like that, but it's a well-known joke by now, or people describe their support as like this, when a dead person or a comatose person is plugged into this thing measuring brain activity. So it's like the brain activity of a dead person, the support they have in the polls, since it's been pretty much the same for so long. And it's a really sad sense. Like Lee Anderson, who is on the right in the picture, she's great. Like she's like everyone likes her, and when there are these polls asking people like about the leaders or like the chairs of the parties instead of just the parties in general. She tends to like get the most favorable opinions out of like regardless of what the actual party affiliation of the person answering is, and still that somehow doesn't translate to the favor of the party gets.
You got a pretty good question from the chat.
I did.
Mm.
This kind of actually ties into it. I've probably said before that, like, if I have to go for some kind of a label, I'm going to be vague about it and say left libertarian. And like I'm in the Pirates. I'm not in any of the existing parties because none of the existing parties are left enough or libertarian enough. That's the short version. The Pirates are traditionally not like recognizably left, maybe, but they definitely are like the Pirates ideology. Insofar as there is one, it is very much libertarian. If there's any kind of a continuum of thought or history of thought that the Pirates have based any of the programs or agendas or on, that's going to be like libertarianism. And there's a lot of policy, there's a lot of discussion on many topics that's shared by both the so-called right libertarian tendencies and the left libertarian tendencies. So that's why it's more compatible. It seems more compatible with sort of the both sides approach than maybe some other tendencies. But I'm not sure if it's the same in Sweden, but in Finland, the term libertarian doesn't really exist. Like, there is no distinction like that. Nobody is trying to use the term. Maybe some academics might be. I haven't looked into like Finnish language academic writing on ideological history or political history, but yeah.
In Sweden, it's normally been used by right-wing people who are watching Dave Rubin and think it translates that way.
Yep.
But
one very obvious example of stuff that's issues that have only been viewed critically by libertarians, whether they be right or left libertarians, is intellectual property. So copyright, patents, all that. So that's a very different. That's something something I base my reading of the pirate movements as a libertarian one. That's a pretty obvious one, I think.
Yeah, and I mean, one of the fundamental things that the other people don't get is that it's all information. Everything is information, right? I mean, it's very, very, very important to get that straight, because if we do not have the capacity to speak freely and communicate online, I mean, it's a gigantic democratizing, decentralized tool that should remain that way. And if we start to think that we can use it in other ways to control people for this and this and that, I don't care if you're left or right, you're wrong. And there's nothing good that can come out of that. And I feel that this has traditionally been one of the big issues for the Swedish. I mean, the Social Democrats is an authoritarian type party. I mean, their solution to things like the cannabis question is to don't listen to any form of science. In fact, you shouldn't even be talking about this. It's problematic that you're talking about this, because that means that people, their approach to these type of problems is horrible. And equally, the Swedish left-wing, the Swedish left party has had similar tendencies. I mean, they need to get rid of the tankies. Like, I'm not positive to some of that type of the will to amass power at the state level does not solve any particular problems, and I believe that the left-wing party in Sweden and because the Greens in certain other countries have moved that way to a more left libertarian point of view, but I think that's it's lacking in Swedish politics completely. There is no left libertarian party.
Yeah, unfortunately, there is one Finnish MP who is part of the Left Alliance. For clarification, the Left Alliance is the name of the party. It's basically I'm not sure about the origins of that, but I'm pretty sure that's what they are called in English, like even in official capacity. They are called Vänsterförbundet in Swedish. So it's not an alliance of several parties or organizations, it's a party to itself. What was the question again?
Sorry, I can. There's two things. Lol, who are the tankies in the Swedish leftist party? They are mostly sock dem. I would agree with you, but I believe. I mean, I find quite few people who believes that anything that the state can solve stuff in that type of way, or that's a beneficial or positive type of solution to every single problem. But the left, the Swedish left, the way I see it, is traditional. It suffers from the same problem as the Social Democrats do. I hope that they can renew that view of them. But I think that if you're a part of them, you'll realize that it's a pretty top-down structure. I mean, Socialiseringskommittén can come in and say otherwise, obviously, but that it still has a lot of these type of ideas floating around. And I believe that in order to change the left to a more progressive left, there needs to be a party that challenges them. The more parties that are out there, if the Pirate Party or me or anyone can be out there and getting them into a more informed type of policy regarding information and more anarchistic, or rather more left libertarian, that's positive. Now you can do that from within the party, or you can do that from the outside.
That's exactly the reason to work towards these goals as part of a small party, or one that doesn't have any elected representatives in the parliament. And that's the specific reason to be part of a party that still sets up, has candidates who run in these elections, instead of just a broader movement of sorts or an organization, since the only thing that the established parties really respond to is others showing up and taking votes that they consider that they should be receiving. That's the only way to get them to respond. They've been in the system for long enough at this point, even like the newer parties who are the basic Finns and the Greens here, they've been in the system for long enough that a lot of what motivates them on like a systemic structural level is maintaining their position and maintaining at least their current support or their current size in the parliament and other, organs. So, which tends to automatically make them turn to away from anything that's radical or progressive, or anything that could, stretch the Overton window, which leaves that duty to even smaller ones and smaller and newer parties. And that's basically how I view the function of small parties here, and it's also the reason I'm a member of one, and use it as my political outlet, I guess, because you can actually push for more radical or sort of you can push for ideas that aren't really part of the regular discussion yet, and you can do it. It takes less effort to make those kinds of open the discussion like that from a small party than it would be to try to push it through in an established one. So
Yeah.
it's not even like, and obviously it's the pirates because of information, the politics of information, the politics of technology, digital policy, all of that. And also they focus on always some kind of some brand of libertarianism. Those are the ones why it's the pirates out of all the available ones.
Yeah. And I mean, I actually wrote a list here where I don't think that Vänsterpartiet is doing enough. I mean, basic income, bank reform. They're not really talking about that as far as it's not seriously in a way. I mean, drugs and sex naturally is things that I think. I mean, drugs and sex and rock and roll. The possibilities of future tech, information politics, and there's a lot of things where I believe they are not well prepared, and I believe that, as I said, just the fact that there are more alternatives out there pushing them is so important. We should not have one party there that has all the power in an old hierarchical structure. I would like to see decentralized parties. I would like to see decentralized unions. That's why we're having SAC on. I have no interest in building another SOCDEM party in Sweden, right? They need to be cornered with anarchist ideas. And that sort of dynamic is super important. And
that's the challenge, though, and that's an issue the pirate movement so far has had, and that's something that's sort of been the downfall of several pirate party projects so far. That there's this focus, rightfully so, on decentralization, but people have had this tendency to think that you can make decentralization happen through purely technological means, and that's not how human society works. That's one of the major mistakes. I have this whole analysis of what the pirates haven't gotten right so far, and this is part of it. Like this over-reliance on, and this belief in technological solutionism. That's actually, like, it's been the reason some pirate parties have failed, because they went for some kind of a experimental liquid democracy app before they even had a functional structure otherwise.
No, I agree, but I think that I just think for the and I really hope that the pirate party in Sweden can dare to take those steps and be radical in a way, because the thing is, I believe as a small party you should be. You need to be.
We're going to show them the way.
Yeah.
As we know, the light comes from the east.
True. Look at this, our future queen and everything. It's beautiful. But yeah, I hope that was a pretty good answer to that question, at least. Why you should vote PP, why you should go big PP instead of VP.
Nice PP.
Nice PP. Oh, sweet PP. That's about it, actually. I think I had something else, but I think that kind of sums it up pretty well. We'll let you off before it's like over 12 o'clock.
Yep.
we got some news from the chat. Obviously, take it with a grain of bad salt. Apparently, McAfee has died in a
and
prison
as
cell.
always, thanks everyone for tuning in, and please do, if you come across something that you'd like to see us discuss, please link it in the PTV Global channel in the Discord. So
Maya is not allowed in the Swedish channel, so you must link it in the global one.
Exactly. I mean, post your articles and stuff you want to talk about here, and we'll try to bring them up. It really helps with some news. I mean,
my Finnish nationalistic programming that I received from my peers at school prevents me from processing in Swedish.
Yeah, I guess that's actually
it's unfortunate. I can't understand anything you're saying.
That they're writing in the chat?
Yeah, it's sad.
Yeah. I'm not, you know what, I'm reading it and I can tell you're not missing out on anything. Don't worry.
True that, but that's not because of the language, that's because of the shit takes in our chat.
That's because of Strange Lurk, who fucking debated me and posted the fucking prawn. Like posting this. What the hell is this? How this is not okay? Not topical. Hello?
Oh dear.
Okay, I'm gonna download it now, and I'm gonna watch this later. Accounting file. There we go. Beautiful. Dear friends, everyone, keep giving us suggestions so we can make this better. Give us some news if you have some, obviously. The idea obviously is to focus more on money. Subscribe, do anything you can, obviously. Whatever you can. We're happy about it all. And I mean, the goal here is to make some European kind of centric news and keep that going. So help us out. And I think that's about it. We'll see if we can find someone to raid. I don't think so.
There is still one question in chat. It's my opinion on siskonmakkarakeitto. That's owned 2 typos. Good show. I mean, it was okay. I ate it when I was younger, but I've since stopped eating red meat or most kinds of meat. So, like a proper hippie. So, and brainwashed climate kid and whatever else. Yeah, it's okay, but not my thing anymore.
Yeah. Right, what is it even?
It's a specific kind of the hell is makkara again?
Korvbollssoppa? What the fuck?
Exactly, yeah.
Okay.
So sort of, there's this specific kinds of korv that you push these balls out of, and that's siskonmakkarakeitto.
This.
I know it sounds.
There's a special
It
kind
sounds
of
very
korv.
interesting.
There's a special kind of korv where you push out balls.
Yeah.
This looks like really small
Unironically.
penises. Look at this.
I have an insane picture in my head right now.
Well, watch the stream. It's not going to get better.
Ooh, ooh. No, actually, that looks like there's a Norwegian soup. Lapskois.
Yeah, I highly doubt it's unique to Finland.
That looks pretty fucking unique, actually, but it's somewhat the same. I mean, those little sausages, they look like miniature testicles.
Let's just say what we have in common is that anything that we do apparently have to be made Tex-Mex since the end of the 90s. What the fuck is this? Tex-Mex. This Tex-Mex. What the hell? This is like the third. Oh, okay. Well, I got a few pictures.
I just honestly couldn't remember the word for. I couldn't bring up the word for sausage I mean, I could bring up that word, so that's why I talked about a specific kind of korv. But now we have some meme material.
I was so push.
I hope you're happy.
The way that you just switched from English to korv, just that specific. I was so put off by it. I was looking through my English vocabulary. What the fuck is korv in English?
Nyt kato, mummo keittää aika vauhdikkaasti tämmöistä siskonmakkarakeittoa.
Okay, this is a nice outro. I'm not sure if it counts as eye bleach.
This is eye bleach. Oh, we have some eye bleach more. We need to wash it too.
What the fuck is this?
What's she do? What is that? What's?
Mä en oo ennen tehnyt tämmöllä lailla.
Oh.
She's desausaging the sausages.
Oh, so you kind of pull out the little sausage ball from inside a sausage skin.
Yeah.
Yeah, and somehow the consistency of the stuff inside is such that it always produces those like nearly perfect round pieces.
It's nice. They look a lot like
And they just taste
sheep
like
balls.
regular sausages.
Tämä on aika varmaan hyvä tulee uskoisin, koska ainakin on kehuttu joka
Her glasses says that she's a Karen.
She knows what she's doing. What's she saying?
And she will ask for the manager.
She is the manager, yeah.
Obviously. Can't you tell? Those are some like higher level Karen glasses. And attire as well.
I mean, her confidence just screams.
Look at the pattern on his on her blouse.
Yeah. This is balls.
That's an Anita.
She's asserting dominance on all of us.
Yeah. Her name is most def Anita.
Paras päivä Pitkon kansa. What's that to me?
Okay, now we have a Finnish cuisine show, apparently. Well done.
Minä ollut pikkusen välillä nyt tässä ikään kuin alamaissa.
Holy shit, he looks stoned. Like, what the fuck am I doing here?
Hey, bro. It's like,
woman.
why are you filming me? Like, what are you...
Minä ollut pikkusen välillä nyt tässä ikään kuin...
Why haven't I got something to chew on?
What are you doing in my kitchen?
Yeah.
Missä se lie olikaan, että mikä se saa mulle iloa?
I mean, you can tell they've been married for a long time. He's just he doesn't even hear her words anymore. He's just watching out the window like yes, this is nice life.
Ja sitten joku kysyy multa, missä se lie olikaan, että
You might be reading this.
He's watching.
That looks more like a daughter and a father.
Niin minä kirjoitin siihen, se oli oikein kysymys, että kirjoitin, että 2 asiaa aamulehen.
You're reading these Finnish social cues wrong. It's perfectly normal to just be staring off into distance while someone else speaks. He might be like listening very attentively. He just isn't emoting anything.
Oh, right,
There's no need for that.
That's like Moomin Pappan. I know that now.
It's a higher level of communication. You just don't understand.
I don't get it. Yeah.
It's how we evolved.
I mean, I think I've told you this before, Maya, but I can't remember where I got the fact from, but I read some kind of serious fact that Finnish men were the group all over Earth that was most attuned to sit down in the room together without speaking to each other.
Yeah, that's entirely possible. You Swedes are too chatty. Like, I think it's a meme that people in the Nordics can be silent, but we definitely are like the pinnacle of that.
Yes.
It's okay to be silent. You guys should learn from us.
No, it's not okay.
No, it's not okay. We like hearing our voices. We have such a beautiful language.
Exactly. When you have such a beautiful language, you need to use it.
She's prating very good English.
It's like singing all the time. It vibrates.
That's probably why people were fine with switching over to Russian rule like 200 years ago.
Not likely.
Maybe they understood our need for silence better.
Yeah. Yeah, it's quite possible. I gotta say, the Russians that I've met are quite similar to a lot of the Finnish people I've met. Those are traveling Russians, though.
Sä nyt sen verran, että luet tuosta vai luenko?
Mulla on absoluuttinen näkö.
No sitten luepas.
kun kuulemma olemme täällä vain
And yeah, both have the sense of humor that comes from both. I mean, it's incredible.
kerran ja emme tiedä lähtömme hetkeä. Eikö jokainen päivä...
I can't tell what they're saying, it's too quiet.
Yeah. Let's watch some other eye bleach. Although this dude is not my favorite. This is what I'm gonna become when I'm older. This is my goal. Life goals. Hashtag. I'm just gonna sit on a chair and stare out while people are talking. No, it's good. It looks nice. I'm hungry as hell too. I can't stand it. Oh, let's do the last thing. I actually brought some raccoon eye bleach.
I might have a meme as well.
Don't move, bro.
Creepy.
He can't see you.
So fucking creepy.
They're like, uh-oh. Don't move. If we're still, he won't see us. I'm not moving, bro. He can't see us now. Fucking clever. Smart animals. Love them. That libertarian feel.
Yeah, I just studied the link. It's the libertarian flag like below.
Wait, what's the first one?
No step on snake.
Oh, wait. What the hell?
It's just a flag edit
Okay.
shit posting Reddit apparently. But the snack is cute. He feels bad.
Mm.
Most libertarians I know seem like they're not feeling too well for whatever reason. So I think that depicts the ideology pretty well.
Yeah,
Mind right libertarians,
right,
also
libertarians.
called classical liberals.
That's Renee. Yeah, here we go. This is Renee.
Oh.
But we're having feisty debates. It's always good. Trampa inte på Ottos slang, exactly. That's Otto's snake right there. That's why we have our taxes theft. That's skattestöld. This is huge in Sweden. That's what they always say. It's fun. They are memes. I don't understand how they can keep on not trying to understand a little bit more deeper level stuff sometimes. But this is nice. I'll share it to you. Stötta Oss. Anyhow, thank you so much for today. Tomorrow we will be back at 7 o'clock. Hopefully we'll have syndicalisterna here talking in the evening. We'll see. I'm going to call them tomorrow. We'll find out what we're going to do. Skatt är stöld.
That's true though.
Yes, on Friday it will be Shabbel, and then next week on the same time as this time, 9 o'clock, we will have next PTV Global. We'll see you then. Have a nice night.
See ya!
PTV. Oberoende. Piratistisk media. Skapad och finansierad av tittarna.
Kuken ute. Nej, stoppa in den igen, Miss Midget, är du snäll.
Entering orbit, final destination. Reaching the peak of a life of preparation. Still, the static. Harder for the system. Oh, guilty of these lies by our submission. Then gravity pulled my feet back to the ground. My world let escape. And you got yours and I've got mine.
Vi har inte i tillräcklig grad lyckats bryta det ekonomiska fåtalsväldet.
Jag tror att om man ska företräda hela det svenska samhället, då är det viktigt att man i första hand ställer sig på de sämre ställda gruppernas sida. Det är de som i första hand behöver samhällets stöd. Det är de som i första hand är intresserade av samhällets förändring. Och jag tror att solidaritetskänslan i det svenska samhället är och kommer att bli så stark att det går att få alla samhällsgruppers stöd.